Canning, long-term food storage, and prepping have gained popularity in recent years as people seek to be self-reliant and prepared in these insecure times. If you're interested in these practices, it's essential to know how to can foods properly for long-term storage in your pantry, as well as what equipment to use and how to test jar seals to ensure your canned foods remain safe and delicious. Some may question the need for using a water bath method or a pressure canner, citing anecdotal evidence of past practices without issues. However, just as there are occasional smokers who live to be 100 or people who cross the street without looking and don't get hit by a car, it's not a rational approach to rely on luck alone. The U.S. Department of Agriculture and many major universities, which have extensively studied food safety and home canning, all state that if you are canning at home, including making jams and jellies, you must use a water bath or pressure canner to avoid food poisoning. They specifically refer to bacteria like botulism, which can grow in a sealed environment. To put your mind at ease, this video will provide you with all the knowledge and methods you need to safely can and stockpile your favorite foods for difficult times. I'm sure you have old family recipes and have also seen recipes floating around on the internet. According to the USDA, canning recipes prior to 1990 should not be used. Many of these older recipes lack instructions for processing foods correctly. The open kettle method, where the food is cooked in an ordinary pot or kettle and then packed into hot jars and sealed without processing, can lead to inadequate temperatures that fail to destroy spoilage and harmful bacteria, risking food poisoning. Additionally, microorganisms can enter the food during transfer, causing spoilage. At the time you sealed the jars, the temperature of the contents had already dropped below 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, the jars were exposed to the air temperature 70 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not a sterile environment and contains floating spores of Clostridium botulism and other harmful bacteria. As a result, the sealed jars may contain small amounts of live bacteria. Surprisingly, the air in your kitchen is not sterile. How to choose the right canner for long-term food storage. With so many options available, it can be overwhelming to pick the best one. Let's explore the key aspects of choosing the right canner that suits your needs and budget. There are two main types of canners: boiling water canners and pressure canners. It's crucial to use the right one depending on the acidity of the food you want to preserve. 1. Boiling water canners. These are suitable for high-acid foods like jams, jellies, pickles, applesauce, and tomatoes with added lemon juice. They are faster for processing high-acid foods compared to pressure canners. 2. Pressure canners. These are necessary for preserving low-acid foods like meats, dairy, seafood, poultry, and most vegetables. They reach temperatures between 240 and 250 degrees Fahrenheit, eliminating the risk of botulism from low-acid foods. Below is a convenient table of recommended temperatures for food preservation, providing you with a quick and easy reference. Feel free to copy or download the table at the end of the video. We have added it in the description. Selecting the right-sized canner. When choosing a canner, consider its capacity. Most canners can hold 7-quart jars or 8 to 9 pints. Smaller pressure canners might accommodate 4-quart jars, while larger ones can fit 18-pint jars in 2 layers or 7-quart jars. Avoid using small pressure saucepans for canning, as they are not recommended. Advantages of pressure canners. While boiling water canners have their benefits, pressure canners offer several advantages. 1. Better food quality. Pressure canners get hotter, resulting in better flavor and longer shelf life for preserved foods. 2. Versatility. A pressure canner can also be used as a boiling water canner. Just remove the gauge and weight, giving you 2 canners in one. 3. Extended shelf life. Due to higher temperatures, pressure canned foods have a longer storage life. Testing jar seals and ensuring safe long-term storage. When using the 2-piece metal lid system with a flat lid and a ring band, here are 3 simple ways to check if your jars are properly sealed. 1. The finger test. After letting the jars cool for 12 to 24 hours, remove the ring bands and press the middle of the lid with your finger or thumb. If the lid springs back up, it means the jar is unsealed. 2. The spoon tap. Tap the lid with the bottom of a teaspoon. If you hear a dull sound, the jar is not sealed. On the other hand, a ringing, high-pitched sound indicates a correct seal.
Listen to it.
Be cautious if food is in contact with the underside of the lid, as it can also create a dull sound. 3. The visual check. Hold the jar at eye level and inspect the lid. A properly sealed jar will have a slightly concave lid. If the center is flat or bulging, the jar may not be sealed correctly. Reprocessing unsealed jars. In case a lid fails to seal, don't worry, you can fix it.
So we're back on? We're back on.
Remove the lid and check for any tiny nicks on the jar sealing surface. If you find any, switch to a new jar, add a properly prepared lid, and reprocess the jar within 24 hours using the same processing time. Alternatively, adjust the headspace to 1.5 inches and freeze the jar instead of reprocessing. Single, unsealed jars can be stored in the refrigerator and consumed within a few days. Storing canned foods. Once your jars are tightly vacuum sealed and have cooled, remove the ring bands and wash both the lid and jar to remove any food residue without disturbing the sealed lid. Rinse and dry the jars thoroughly, as there might be residues that are not visible to the naked eye. These residues could support the growth of molds outside the jar during storage. Consider storing your jars without ring bands to keep them dry, and allow for easier detection of any broken vacuum seals. However, if you choose to reapply the ring bands, make sure all surfaces are clean and completely dry first. If you plan to stack jars in storage, take care not to disturb the vacuum seals. It's best to avoid stacking jars too high directly on top of each other. If stacking is necessary, provide support between the layers to prevent disturbing the seals on the lower jars. You can place jars in boxes or use a firm solid material as a supportive layer between them. Label and date your jars and store them in a clean, cool, dark, and dry place with temperatures between 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit for best quality. Avoid storing jars above 95 degrees Fahrenheit or in locations with high heat, direct sunlight, or dampness, as these conditions may cause the food to lose quality and spoil.
That has been broken for a while.
Identifying and handling spoiled canned food. Detecting spoilage in canned food is essential for your safety. Do not consume food from a jar with an unsealed lid or any signs of spoilage. Some indications of spoilage include lids that have swelled, dried food streaks originating from the top of the jar, rising air bubbles, unnatural colors, unusual odors, and mold growth on the food surface or underside of the lid. If you suspect spoilage in low-acid foods, such as tomatoes, treat the containers as if they have produced botulinum toxin and handle them carefully. Seal any unsealed or leaking containers in a heavy garbage bag and dispose of them properly. Detoxify the sealed containers by boiling them in water for 30 minutes before disposal. Cleaning up. When handling suspect foods or cleaning contaminated surfaces and equipment, wear disposable rubber or heavy plastic gloves. Use a bleach solution to treat surfaces and items that may have come into contact with spoiled foods. Be sure to rinse thoroughly and wash all detoxified items, including countertops and can openers. By following the tips mentioned in this video, you can ensure the safety and quality of your canned foods, making your long-term food storage experience worry-free and rewarding. Happy canning and stay safe, fellow preppers!